OWLRO. Hello and welcome. I hope you're doing good. I'm going to offer a reading for the new moon in Cancer, which happens on the 25th of June. And I'm also just gonna say that, well, this is my first official video here in this channel, and I'm not sure how things will go, but I'm kind of flowing with what wants to move, and so there'll be a lot of changes and a lot of things and a lot of experiments with the video and the format and what I do. But you can expect a lot of readings, sound journeys, stories, poetry, and what wants to move out of me as an expression, as well as a way of connecting with you out there and the collective. And I'm actually going to start this reading today by just opening a page of this book and reading, and this will be like the guiding the flow of the reading. And and as I always say to the people I read for, is that the reading doesn't need to make sense to you right now. Maybe just a little bit makes sense, maybe just something you need to hear. These readings are for the collective, so they may not resonate with all of you. It might resonate in a different timeline, even though whenever it finds you, it's just meant for you. And I don't do any predictions. I don't focus on just the specific areas. I just speak of what is happening, what is moving, what is guiding you in this moment. And it's really about probabilities, and we ultimately have the will, the power to take a different road and to choose and decide. If we have that strong will, of course. So I'm just gonna start. I'm gonna open it here. And we start with bone. It kind of already makes me think of blood, because blood is being produced in the bone, and we have so much DNA and memory, ancestral memory in it, through it. Seemingly laughing, a skeleton poses gently before us. It suggests that something hard within psyche, life, happily endures even when the body dies. Since human and animal flesh decays rather quickly after death, leaving the bones behind, bone is a tangible reminder of the loss of life, and at the same time alludes to something substantive that transcends the death of the bodily flesh. While Judaism and Hinduism tend to avoid bone symbolism on the grounds that anything associated with death pollutes, Christianity and Buddhism engage the image of bone as the important part of a person. For both, this is concretized in itself, is concretized in belief in the healing, life-giving potency of particular bones. Thus, St. Peter's Basilica and St. Paul's Church in Rome were built over the hallowed bones of their namesakes, evoking psyche's archetypal structure of ancestral experience that supports the personality and transcends space and time. Bones are also where the mythic reanimation of a dead person must begin. As part of Arctic shamanic initiations, for example, the apprentice dies in a dream, vision, or trance and is dismembered, the bones cleaned and the flesh scrapped. I'm not going to read all of it, but I think this is so meaningful to what's happening, not only because there is a lot of conflict happening where a lot of people are dying right now, but also because I feel that we need to come more in contact with death, or embrace more of that, and come in contact with the fear of death, and with the fear also that we carry from generation through generation through generation, about something of us that needs to die in order for all the power and all the force and all the unknown that we don't yet come to connect or embody in us, from us, to rise. And I feel that there is such a big shift happening, like timelines, awareness, consciousness, identities, and we are becoming more authentic. We are becoming more interconnected also, and we are releasing ancestral baggage that pertain us, but does not need to define us. And actually we don't need to carry it anymore, even though we remember it. So I think this is really meaningful. I think this reading will be somehow guided by this, this awareness of our bones, our skeletons, our structure, and that part of us that doesn't die, that which doesn't change, that everlasting force or presence or entity that is, it's always there. It's always there. I'm gonna go also with an animal spirit, and this will also give us a hint of what do we need to embody, what forces are at play right now in our life. So I'm gonna pull 2 cards, and then actually I'm just gonna pull one, because I'm gonna read it at the end, and this will kind of tie up everything together. Okay. Crocodile, but I also saw the hummingbird somehow. Maybe 2 want to come out. I'm gonna leave it there for now, and I'm using my chessboard to pull these cards together, although I really love my chessboard. It's so beautiful. Okay, I'm gonna use also the Rider-Waite, and I'm gonna combine with different tarot decks that I have, so everything will be in the description down below. Also, I offer personal intuitive readings. I'm just working with a limited amount of readings every month. So if you wished to connect with me through that way, more personal for you, also everything is in the description down below. Let's see. I'm gonna do a salty spread, a slightly variated one, shorter, because these readings are not too long. And good. We start with the Sun, followed by, crossed by the 4 of Wands. Then the Knight of Swords, the Page of Pentacles. If you are familiar with the tarot, the 8 of Cups at the top. I think you are transitioning, you're moving, you're leaving something behind, something very meaningful for the sake of your clarity. Then we have the 8 of Wands. And I'm just going to pull one card. The King of Swords. I'm going to confirm also that card with another random card. I've been following some tarot readers on YouTube, and there's so much. But there's a lot I've been learning, and especially different tarot spreads. And I'm combining this one. There is this tarot reader called Dove and Serpent Tarot. He's amazing, actually. I am so in awe with how he, how much he knows, and the way he reads, and he's having this really amazing spread, Celtic tarot spread, and he always pulls an 11th card as a confirmation card, mystery card, and I feel to to do that as well. Even though I don't have the 11 cards, I only pull 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards plus that one, the 8th one. Okay, let's see. At the base we have the Ace of Wands. I think that, like I said, you are on the verge of a really, really rapid movement. There is something that you are leaving behind. You are in this threshold. You are in this moving on from something that maybe once felt and was really meaningful, very special to you. There was like a lot of emotional comfort and safety there, and I think that that in order for you to tap into this new awareness, this new consciousness, and this new old self, there is the crumbling, the leaving, the shifting of that sense of stability, sense of safety, that was once really, really special and dear to you. So we have the Sun in card number 1, representing your present moment and the state where you are, and it's crossed over by the Four of Wands, which represents many things, but the fours are always like when you land into a station. Let's imagine that you are traveling from the north of Sweden to all the way down to the south of Italy, and the 4 will represent like one of those stops you make to recharge, to okay, look ahead, notice, okay, I've come so far, I've reached this place, but it's not your final destination. I think your final destination, it's not a place in itself, it is a state of being, and I think that you're not completely there yet. I think that something sparked this, maybe you want to go to study again, maybe you want to start something new, maybe there's a new path, there's a new venture, a new relationship, and it means that you have to get ready to leave something behind, and there is a lot of uncertainty, there is a lot of unknowns there is a lot of that's where your higher self is guiding you. That's where the higher self is. It's not a known place. It's not, a conditioned mindset and a frame that you want to figure out and you want to hold on to. For some reason, we don't have a lot of Pentacles cards, and we don't also have, we have only one Cup card, water, representing water, emotions, safety, connection, belonging. Safety also pertains to coins, and we only have one coin, and I feel that it's in the past, in the card representing the past, the Page of Coins. And I think that you have taken quite a long time to take the decision. I think that you've really been there in that, state where you couldn't move, and I think right now your soul, your higher self, your future self, your inner self, your lower self is really ushering you, pushing you, like with a lot of force, with a lot of, even though this is a highly air, mental, intellectual card, I feel that somehow it speaks of already a force that is starting to move your body as well. But I think there is also a lot happening on the mental plane for you, where you really need to be mindful, practice awareness, because you are stepping in the unknown, but you have to have some sort of clarity. And this clarity is not about like the practical things of where you're going, how you're going to do these, the blah, blah, blah. No, it's a clarity that comes from having a stable mind, a stable mindset, that you somehow know that what's happening, that there's a bigger picture, that there is something, like you're being pulled towards this new place. And it is... it's not just about, again, that destination, that point. I think that the Four of Wands also speaks of, maybe you have not had this sense of belonging. Maybe you are moving also because where you have been, maybe you have had that comfort, that safety. Maybe there have been people and, you know, relationships around you, but you've not really felt that sense of, okay, wow, yeah, these are my people. These are there is like a sense of family here, even though they are family, or they have been family, or they have been familiar. Now what's coming is the Eight of Wands, and this is, I mean, you should brace yourself and hold on, because this is rapid, swift movement. And I feel that this movement that is happening is not just for you and your life, and that's where the discernment comes. This is happening on all levels, on all people, like on everyone, not old people, but all. When I'm channeling and doing these readings, I feel like my voice somehow, like I say things that I'm like, what is this like, but it's really happening on all levels. And I think that there's got to be, you have to find the way to kind of, like when you're moving through a big wave, you know, decide, awareness, how you want to traverse this wave. Like, do you want to ride it, or do you want to go under it? Are you ready to ride it? No matter what is going to come, and it's going to take you no matter what. So I think that it's really speaks of a lot of movement, a lot of energy, a lot of passion, a lot of enthusiasm, and a deep sense of flying and track. I want to look at the last card I pull and see how does this relate to that King of Swords, which you got on the top. You know, outcome, like, you know, this is for me like an advice, a recommendation, an outcome, like, you know, in this spark where there's a lot of innocence and this new start for you and this new beginning, like that's like the grown up. That's like, and the card also can represent that, like I'm also feeling that the King of Swords, it speaks of like, you have to integrate in between your inner child and your innocence, and that analytical, grown-up mental mindset. There's something I'm getting from that, and I think it really resonates with. There is like, I'm feeling like two different forces here. Okay, I'm gonna look at the card. We got the Nine of Cups. I just simply love this tarot deck. I'm gonna write the name on it. It's much more based on the Tarot de Marseille, and it's just simply so beautiful. And the Nine of Cups speaks, and I'm really happy to see that, because you are stepping from the 8 to the 9 of Cups, and I think that where you're going again, and you know that you're gonna find that, you know, that sense of contentment somehow. It's not a 10 though, and it also speaks of, for some reason I'm seeing like this lone butterfly. So it also speaks of an internal way you're gonna be feeling, that it's really solely dependent on your own self-regulation, on your own, you know, even though you're going to probably be surrounded by others as well. And I think that this is what you have to kind of be aware of, like the destination, the whole overview of this journey you are on, transitioning from an identity to another identity or another way, a state of being, that you might not be there, and you probably are still in these, you know, initial stages where you are consciously now moving on, deciding to move on, deciding to go after that. But it's coming. You're gonna get there, and I think that right now it's just really about taking that first step, because things will never initiate, never move on if you don't take that first initial step. And I think you're doing it. I think you will do it, and I think it's happening, even if right now you're still in that kind of like transitioning point. I'm gonna find also, I want to read the crocodile, and the hummingbird. And I feel the crocodile represents like a part of you, something of you, and the hummingbird represents something of the external, you know, like of what's coming, like, you know, internal versus external. That's what I'm kind of getting. And we got the crocodile, which is water, representing water. And we have resting, submerging, collecting energy, cooling off. The crocodile reminds us to step back from the external world and turn inward. Now is not the time for decisions, action, or discussion. It's interesting because I think that there's a lot of action, and if you have not taken that conscious decision, I think that somehow, you know, that's the first thing before you start and initiate something, like making that decision in you. The crocodile's mantra is wait. This doesn't mean lying around hoping life's changes will disappear. The crocodile is much smarter than that. It means intentionally withdrawing, gathering our awareness, observing and building energy. Fill up the vital reserves so your next move comes from a place of wisdom and power. When in balance, wise, patient, a silent powerhouse. When out of balance, feels stuck and lashes out. To bring into balance, rest. And maybe just do some yoga. It suggests the Pakarasana pose. Now I'm getting like a different vibe. I'm getting that you know that you're moving, you know that you're kind of eager to do that step, to move on. And maybe if you're getting impatient, this is what the crocodile comes and reminds you, like, hey, it's happening. You know, Christmas is coming, but you have to act with wisdom and move like a powerhouse. And I think the King of Swords represents a person and an entity that it's, you know, there's a lot of practicality also in the King of Swords in a very, you know, intellectual way as well. And when I say intellectual, I mean of your intellect. And there's a lot of pondering, a lot of calculations, and a lot of things that you need to take into consideration for this next big move. Let's look at the hummingbird, which is representing the air element. And the only major arcana here we have is the sun. And I think that this really speaks of this spark, of this clarity, this energy, this new awareness that you're getting from your environment, from the place you find yourself. And there is a sense of restlessness. I can see it now. That is kind of like, it's also moving you, allowing you to move forward, to really, you don't want to stay there anymore, and you know it. Whatever is happening is like, it's done. Hummingbird, positive, enthusiastic, spiritually resourceful. Inside the tiny hummingbird resides an endless well of energy and positivity. The hummingbird's secret is that it has learned where to gather nectar, and it returns to these sources daily for nourishment and rejuvenation. This sacred elixir springs from many sources, but usually involves nature, creativity, and exploring spirituality. Follow the way of the hummingbird and you cannot go wrong. Every droplet of life becomes sweet, every moment worth savoring. When in balance, smart, curious, loves to learn. When out of balance, pushy, insistent, sharp. To bring into balance, take a class. I was actually getting that in this transitioning where I think you're going to connect with people that will remind you of this, of, you know, what, not because like you've known that you've been lacking something, but because the way of relating with them will just bring into your awareness how, you know, how things can be, how delicious it can be. And I feel also that integrating this, you know, adult King of Swords and the Page of Pentacles means that you also need to be humble, to learn to be open. And I think that this movement, this decision to move, however it is, wherever you're going, even if it's leaving a relationship, a place, a city, an environment, I think it's because you really need to nourish. You need to surround yourself with nourishment, with nature, with people that nourish that. It's just like that nectar means to me, this of nourishment for your spirit, for your blood, for your bones. And so like, how can you really, you know, hold all this energy and be patient and still take that step and move with wisdom? I think that's the message. And what's coming, it's coming. I mean, the Nine of Cups. It's such a good mystery outcome. And again, don't hold on too much to it, because you don't know when. But I think that ultimately the Nine of Cups is a way of being that we can invoke in any moment. And for that, we need rest, we need awareness, we need wisdom. Again, amazing. Thank you for so much. If you're ready, like if you're still here watching this video, please subscribe and like and share. And I'm gonna come with a lot of nourishment, like that nectar, and with a lot of offerings that can help us, help you find, discover, uncover that peace inside. Peace and nourishment. Until next one. OWLRO.